Hi, good morning and good afternoon, what time you're watching this. My name is Samuel Cologne. Today I want to talk about what is the strongest part of your body, part 4. I've just been using that title because, our body is so wonderfully made. But if you've seen the previous ones, what is the strongest part of our body is the mind. The heart can be strong, as I mentioned before. The heart can be strong, powerful, pumping blood cells running all over our body. But I do know people who are, wealthy and poor and rich, and they have weak hearts, high blood cholesterol. And I'm not going to get into the health portion because I don't have an answer for the health portion. But I've been meditating and thinking about the mind. I'm not a neurologist, I'm not a scientist, but there's something that I've understand. I've been living a little while on the earth, and so have you. But there's one thing that differentiates between a rich and a poor person, and it's the money. People on high education, high workplaces, whether they work in government or whether they're cleaning the school, it does not matter. The most important instrument that we have in our body, that we possess as people, is called the mind, the brain, the mind. It's as I always say, that our mind is a creation given by God unto us for our profit here on earth. The mind is so important to have, and to learn how to use the mind is very important. Now, I'm not introducing something like telepathic and using your mind to meditate in the cosmos and the stars. No, I like to have the mind as a daily application, to apply it daily. I've noticed something about cats, especially indoor cats and outdoor cats, and you say, well, what does the brain have to do with cats? Have you ever seen an outdoor cat? Have you ever seen an indoor cat? An indoor cat has comforted itself by understanding that he has a couch, he has a pillow, he has a dish of food, he has water. There's no element in that, he knows where to go. But he will have a very difficult time surviving outside. It'll take adjusting and getting to. But have you ever seen an outside cat, the cat that lives outside? He hunts for his food, he has to get his food, he's not easy, he's a survivor. His mind is stronger. The cat outside is a stronger mind. A cat inside is more fearful, so it becomes a weaker mind. The more we surround ourselves with comfort and the more we learn to depend on things, the more weaker mind we get, because now we want people to think for us, we want things done, we want the easy way out. I love the easy way out, don't get me wrong, but here's the situation. There are things that happen, there are things that are happening that is so important to understand, that a strong mind is very essential for whatever you do. We understand what is the weak mind, we understand what is a strong mind. A strong mind is developed as you would develop the muscles in your body. You train your brain, you train your muscles. A person who's working out has to train himself to what he has to eat, what he has to drink. So I want to share a couple little things with you. I'm just reviewing of some of the stuff if you haven't seen the other segments of this. But I want to read today what's important about the mind. Let your mind obey the word. What do you mean, let the mind obey the word? If you're a Christian or if you're not a Christian, this is not something to offend anybody. But what is very important is, apart from the word of God, which I believe in, you have to obey your bosses. You have to obey the rules of a workplace, and that's all in your mind. Have you ever had your boss or somebody tell you, your school teacher, you need to do an assignment, you need to do a project, and you find yourself that you're not capable of doing because you don't understand it? So when you don't understand something, it just takes a toll on your mind. Your brain shuts down, and you can't think of anything else. You just start to think of defeat. This is a weak-minded person. A strong-minded person will obey what he sees. He's not going to question it. A strong-minded person will not question it. He will just do it. He will follow the instructions, okay? He'll get it done. See, this is one thing about the military. It first works on breaking little habits that we have and creating a new habit, because what happens is when you go into military, or whether you're working out or you're in training, the first thing that is targeted is your mind. Your mind. When you go to school, what's happening in school? You go to school, you sit down, right? Teacher says, take out your book, we're going to learn this subject today. You open up your book or your computer, and there it is, a subject you have never seen in your life. So you relate this new subject with something difficult because you're not familiar with it. So the brain automatically says, this is hard. But what happens is when you start getting familiarized, when you start to understand how the subject is being handled, you come to understand that it's not as hard as you thought, because now your brain is being adjusted to what is understanding. And now, since you're learning the law, since you're learning what is being taught, what's happening is now you're able to produce, you're able to associate. And sometimes the hardest thing is to associate. And the brain, the mind is so important because we work with association. One of the things that I understand, and like I said, we must obey the word. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're not a Christian, as a believer in the Lord, I have to obey the Lord. I have to obey what is mindset. This is what's going to make my mind strong. When you start to read, see, I got a notebook here, and it has I'm going by topic about what the book says. So when I start to see what I have written down, it's very important to understand that my mind has thought of all these things. My writing skill, my speaking skills, my working skills are all developed by my brain. My brain sends signal to different parts of my body. Now, your mind, your strong mind, starts to develop and starts to think in judgmental things, proportion things, assessment, to put things in proper order, logic, irrational, and all these things. But like I said, I'm not a scientist. I just want to develop a strong mind. Okay? So another thing about a strong mind is when you have a strong mind, you have an advantage over others if you learn to use your mind. I'll repeat that again, and I'll repeat it slow. Okay? You have an advantage over others if you learn to use your mind. In other words, if you learn to use your mind, if you learn, you will have an advantage over others. What do you mean? Not to enforce your power, not to enforce them that they're weaker, or you can judge them like they're nothing. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the learning process. If I am a doctor, okay, or you're a doctor, and I'm a mechanic, you're going to have a large advantage over me when it comes to your field. I don't know anything about being a doctor, but you don't know anything about being a mechanic, so you take your problem to me because I have an advancement of it. So I have an advantage over you in the certain area, but to get that certain advantage is simply this very important thing. It's your mind. Your mind. Always allow your mind to learn anything. Never shut your mind down. Never shut your mind down. When you're going to learn something, you got to keep this in mind. You have an advantage. I think a weak-minded person is a person who's easily intimidated. Easily intimidated. When a weak intimidation is very, very sad. Where do we learn intimidation from? Is intimidation a strong mind? An intimidation is allowing somebody to rule or to have an advantage over your mind. But when circumstances change, or you want to change your circumstances, there has to be first a change in your mind. If you want to stop being intimidated, if you want to stop living in fear, you have to be strong in your mind. You have to have a determination in your mind. Remember this, determination in your mind will allow you to receive strength. Determination in your mind will allow to receive you strength. I'm going to cut these segments a little bit short. The reason why is that you can cut it in sections. Maybe some of the information you might know, some of the information you might not know, but what I've been repeating here is for a better performance. So this is what is the strongest part of your body, part 4. Thank you. My name is Brother Sam. If you have any question, comment, be free. If you have anything that you want to say, by all means, please do it. Let it be positive. Okay, I'm a strong-minded person, so if you're going to say something negative, I'm not going to pay mind to it, because a strong mind will never give in to a weak comment. God bless you and have a good afternoon.